Our 2020 Contractor of the Year, Drake Construction.
What is going on, everybody? I am Wayne Grace in the online editor of Equipment World, and you're watching Equipment World, where each week we bring you the latest in construction equipment, gear, and trucks. Obviously, this backdrop is a little bit different for us. There's no yellow irons. I'm dressed slightly nicer than I normally am. Tonight is a very special night. We're here in Las Vegas at our 2020 Contractor of the Year Award Banquet. We just gave out the award, and I'm here with my boss, Marsha Gruber-Doyle. She is our editorial director at Equipment World. She runs the show. I just wanted to have Marsha talk a little bit about Contractor of the Year, why it is such an important program. We have partnered on this program with Caterpillar for the last 20 years. They are a huge help in putting this on.
Contractors can either nominate themselves or they can be nominated by a cat dealer. It doesn't matter. We look at all the applications. We go and call references, and we really base things a lot on how enthusiastic their references are.
Right,
We're looking for raving fans.
Right.
We want people who just knock it out of the park as far as their fans are concerned. And then, after we pick 12 finalists, we then go and visit each finalist and really get an inside view of their operation.
These guys are like the cream of the crop. And actually, I was just talking to one of our finalists. He was like, he's never been in a room full of so many like-minded people.
And that's what's great about this program, is because when we bring them together, we have several gatherings around tables, and they start talking to each other. Then they realize, oh my goodness, I have the same problem as you do.
Right.
And my goodness, what are you doing to solve this problem? And there's a real good exchange. So there's just a lot of great camaraderie that we have with this program.
Our winner this year was Toby Drake of Drake Construction out of Kotzebue, Alaska. That's about, 30 miles north of the Arctic Circle. And Tom Jackson, our executive editor, actually went and visited with Toby, and we are going to go to Tom, who is with Toby, our winner. We've got that for you right here.
I would, the crew that I have, I would take them anywhere and put them up against anybody. That's a pretty bold statement. But I usually don't say things I don't mean, and I truly mean that. And there's some talent in Alaska, but I think I have the best.
Tom Jackson here with EquipmentWorld.com. We have just wrapped up our 2020 Contractor of the Year program and awarded Toby Drake of Drake Construction, Kotzebue, Alaska, as our Contractor of the Year this year. And so congratulations, Toby.
Thank you, Tom.
An award well deserved. We want to talk to you about the award and about some of the things you do in Alaska as a heavy highway civil contractor. So you can go ahead and put that down if you want to. How did you get interested in the Contractor of the Year program? How did that catch your eye? And then what did you do to enter the program?
Well, I'm registered on your email list, so I get the email newsletters.
Okay.
And I read those. There's lots of really great information on those. And on one of those newsletters, email newsletters was the Contractor of the Year. I thought, oh, that's kind of neat, so I clicked on it and read all about it. It was actually late at night after everybody went home, and I was trying to catch up on some work, and I closed it and did some work, and about an hour later, I thought, I opened it back up and thought, I'm gonna submit our information and see what happens. Quite honestly, first time I've ever done that for anything, and I'm not really a self-promoter that way. I figure our work speaks for it, and the clients will hear about the quality of our work.
And as you know now, what we did when we got your application is we called all the references you put on the application. Of course, your customers were stark raving fans, as we like to hear from. But then we called you up and said, hey, guess what? You're a finalist.
Right.
What was your thought at that point?
A little surprised. I knew there is just a multitude of talent around the nation, so I was a little shocked. But from the standpoint of the quality of work we do and the employees and the guys I got, that part of it, I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
But you know, as far as the talent that's out there, it's humbling just to be even in the 12.
Yeah.
And you know, when I got the letter and I got the phone call, that's the first thing I told the guys. I said, you know, whether we win or not, man, just to be in the 12, that's an honor.
And so I came up to Anchorage and then Kotzebue. We flew up to Kotzebue to see things.
Right.
Minus 30 degrees. I learned a lot about what you do. You have a very unique mix of business up there in Kotzebue. There are no roads in or out of 30 miles above the Arctic Circle.
Right.
Tell us what kind of work you do and how you accomplish this work in an area that has no roads.
Yeah, so you know, my father, we started off excavation, like a lot of these guys did. Yeah. But just by where the locale of where we are, and there's no one else to do something. So a lot of what we did over the years, there was just no one else doing it, and it needed done. Yeah. You know, we move a lot of buildings. We actually had a building moved years and years ago by an Anchorage company, and you know, of course, it was expensive. So you know, we looked at that. And, well, we need this, and that, and we could do that. So we started doing it. Supplying concrete, the tugging, you know, the marine aspect of what we do. We didn't go in going, oh, we want to be a marine company too. Yeah. But the gravel was up the river, and we were somewhere else, and we had to get it. So we went out and bought a tug and barge and figured it out. And so, you know, whether it was underground or airports or roads or the marine side of things or concrete, the demolition, moving buildings, it just came out of necessity. So, you know, a lot of that we learned on the fly.
And you have now 4 barges, is that correct?
We now have 3 tugs and 4 barges. Okay. So, you know, it's, again, that by no means did we mean to do that. It's just that's what it takes to get the work done in that part of the world. So that's what we do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you can, you build ice roads as well, right?
Yeah. If you need to build ice roads, you know, some of these. Well, you saw, you know, Kotzebue is remote, but you get out to these even smaller villages, or even a remote site where there isn't a town. Yeah. Maybe there's not enough big enough airstrip, or the river is too shallow for a tug and barge. Yeah. So then that's the next best alternative.
What did you think of the experience? We have 2 roundtables. One, we talked about people issues primarily, how to find, keep, and motivate good employees. The other one's about technology. But tell me, what were your impressions of our 2 roundtables?
I thought they were excellent. After that first roundtable, I mean, all the other guys the companies were just super talented. There was a lot to say, and you could tell we could have kept talking all day. And it's really neat when you got other guys, and whether somebody's in North Carolina or Texas or Alaska, we all really have a lot of the same issues. Yeah. So it was very easy to discuss that and throw those problems, ideas around, because we all had them. Yeah. You know, the locale of where you were really didn't matter when it came to that. Yeah. So I thought the roundtables were super informative. The second one with Kat, and talking more about GPS and drones and the future. You can tell we're all a little hesitant, but we understand that you gotta get on that train and ride it, or you're going to be left behind.
And you're with a group of peers. None of them compete in markets against each other, so there's a very open format. Right. Tell me what you picked up from some of the other contractors. Were a couple of things they said that really struck in your mind as you're going to go back to Kotzebue and say, hey, we could do this too, or we need to focus more on that?
Yeah, you know, there was a couple ideas about employee retention, you know, whether it was a bonus or the payroll structure. I actually talked to one contractor after the roundtable. We talked about our systems, internal systems that we have, and they had one that was really neat that tracked, you know, idle time versus actual running time, and when the truck left the yard, and it would track that automatically. Okay. And we don't have that function right now. Okay. So that was something I thought, I'm going to look into that. That you know, to be able to tighten that down and even track your cost even more. So that was a great idea. So yeah, there's a few things there that, you know, we're going to go back and check those out and see if, you know, it's something that it could apply to us. Yeah.
And then we also took you to the CAT experience at the CAT booth on Friday. Yep. Tell me what your impressions of that was. You pick up some useful stuff there?
We did. Yeah. We all know yellow iron, and we all know pretty much what they can do, but you don't know the latest, greatest. Yeah. And I like the speak on the roller about the semi-autonomous, and that's cool stuff. So
yeah, absolutely.
You go to the dealership, and my dealer, NC Machinery, great group of guys. You know, they tell you all the latest models and all this, but the CAT experience, you know, kind of, to me, it was almost like a behind the scenes. Even though we're with the public, almost behind the curtain stuff that, hey, here's what's coming, here's what's going on.
Yeah.
So, a lot of which I didn't know. So
Yeah.
that was very informative.
And in your remarks after you accepted the award, you mentioned obviously your crew, your key guys is a big component of your success. Just tell me a little bit more about them. Apparently a lot of them have been with you for a long time.
Yep.
It's not just hard work that keeps them working for you. There's a spirit in Kotzebue or in Drake Construction that develops loyalty. So how do you do that? How do you keep those people motivated, 30 below, tough as hell jobs, but they're with you for good, apparently?
Yeah, no, obviously your pay structure has to be great.
Yeah.
You got to, obviously that's why everybody's there to be able to make ends meet and carve out a living. But
Yeah.
and Alaska, she's a great marketer on her own. A lot of
Yeah.
guys want to come for the hunting, fishing, and
Yeah.
and the wilderness and the beauty. But to keep them retained, I try to keep that family-like atmosphere.
Yeah.
I don't have an ego, and I want guys that are going to work together no matter what we're doing. If it's 30 below and we're all out there, we're all out there together. Whatever it is we're doing, we're in it together. And it's not pick or choose or anything like that. And I think at the end of the day, that's what employees want. They want that feeling of togetherness, of they're a part of something. There's a goal. Here's where I want to go, and they see that and they're on board with it. The benefits, the money, those are very important things. But to me, I think if they believe in you and they believe in what's going on, and we work together, I think that's why you know where we are. We're a long ways from. Normal places, and these guys could, any one of those guys I pointed out tonight could go get a job anywhere they wanted, even with the big boys. So, I'm super lucky that they want to hang around.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so my final question is just what would you say to contractors? What would you tell them the chief advantages? Why should a contractor sit down, spend an hour or hour and a half filling out that form and sending it to us?
Yeah, well, the first thing, if you're selected for one of the 12 finalists, it kind of tells you where you're at, with your peers around the country, not just even in your state or your region.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, that tells you, oh, okay, well, we must be doing something right. We're in the group.
Yeah.
And of course, from the other side, there's the marketing aspect. I mean, that's a great tool to tell a new employee we must be doing something right to garner an award like this. So from that standpoint, I'm hopeful that it works to that advantage as well. But my takeaway is that it really gives me a gauge on where I'm at nationally with some of these other folks.
Okay.
So that was neat to see that unfold.
Yeah. Okay. I hope you had a good time too.
Oh, it was awesome. Everybody's been super.
Yeah.
The whole team, your guys' team is just phenomenal. Everybody's been just pros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
It's been great.
All right. Thank you, Toby.
Thank you, Tom.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
You bet.
And Matt, you're right. We're all just big kids, just playing with a little bit bigger piece of machinery. I can tell you when I was, 8, 10 years old, I had all the Tonka trucks. I had the Dozer, the dump trucks, and I got so into it that in the backyard I made what I tried to make was a replica little town. And so when I would go to McDonald's, I would save the cups, the straws. The straws were my pipeline. The cups were my, I turned the cups over, and the cups were the tank farm. And I had masking tape on little twigs, and that was my guardrail. And my mom thought that was great because it was in the backyard, so she could keep an eye on me. Until one day she looked out back, and I wanted to keep this as realistic as possible. So I had an accident with 2 of the vehicles, and of course I had to light the tires on fire. And so when she saw the backyard on fire and the grass burning, I had to curb the realism back a little bit. So